Hi there everyone, welcome back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're here today with another video. We're going to do something a bit different this year. Usually we do this just for my blue boys, my Carlton, but today what we're doing is we're going to try and rank the Adelaide Crows side. We've talked a lot about them on this show. We're very hot on them about what they can achieve this year. And if you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. You can become a member of the channel. All that stuff is starting, like I said, mid-late February. So stay tuned for that. That is coming very soon. So without any further ado or any more kerfuffle, let's get in and look at the Adelaide team. So as you can see, what we've done here is we've tried to make it fairly easy and just have it as separated into basically numerical order of their shirt numbers. So there is an anomaly there, as you can see. The very good looking and very strong footballer that is Patrick Parnell, due to the way that the file saved, is number one. So we'll start him, but you can see the tiers is the most important one. So what we've done is we're going to be top tier, who obviously is, what I've based this on is their importance this year. So top tier is someone that I'm deeming as, we're talking about in the All-Australian conversation, we're talking about a guy that would walk into any team. Good, obviously, I think that's self-explanatory. Depth, so what we mean by depth, role player, fighting for his spot. Then we got development and stay, and then fighting to survive. So that's someone that I deem maybe surplus to requirements, maybe on the outer. Going to be an interesting one with Adelaide, because I think Adelaide is probably one of the more exciting lists to get our teeth into. So let's start straight away. We'll go numerical order, and Chase Jones. For me, I find Chase Jones a very easy one. Straight into the old good section. I really like what Chase Jones is about. I like the way he plays his football, but more importantly, I like what his output, what he really brings to the table. I like the fact that he's gives it a go. He's very aggressive. Good engine. I think he's going to be a really solid player. Up next, if you're a Carlton fan, you've seen him many a time, and that is Ben Keays. I think top tier. I feel like this guy's going to go up another level. I think he's very underrated by a lot of players, a lot of fans of opposite teams. When we play him, Ben Keays is one of them guys that I can just guarantee he's going to kick 2 goals and have 25 touches. He's one of them players. When I look at where Adelaide are now, and we're talking about a side that is on the precipice of finals last year, obviously ripped off with the Sydney game, to going that next level, Ben Keays is a real key component of that, pardon the pun. When you look at the top teams and how they deliver, that half-forward role and that guy that floats through the midfield seems to be the game changer in just about every department. So when you look at like the bottom 4 to the mid-table sides, it's usually your half-back run and your ability to counter-attack. Then when we're talking about finals to top 4, we're looking at goal kicking and we're looking at game-changing ability. And I think Ben Keays has got that. I think Ben Keays will be top tier by the end of the year. Up next then, Sam Berry. I'm a big fan of Sam Berry. I think when I look at Adelaide, they play such a sexy style of football. In my opinion, Adelaide is one of the best styles of football to watch, as someone who's got no vested interest in the game. Sam Berry is that rugged appeal, isn't he? He's that hard-edged footballer, that kind of footballer that is going to bring the noise, really, to win the ball back. So I'm a big fan of what Sam Berry brings, and I think that he's one of them players as well, in my opinion, who is grossly underrated. But when I look at their midfield, I think that you'll have Saligo, I think you'll have Dawson, Mitchie Hinge, players like that, and then you've got Laird and Crouch. I feel like at the moment, at this stage of his career, he will be depth, but all in all, incredible footballer, let's be honest, very good footballer. And then up next, we've got a very exciting player, a player that I enjoy watching, that's Lockie Murphy. Very good footballer, very underrated. One of these players that doesn't get probably the kudos that he deserves. Very hard worker, very hard grafter, and for me, he's definitely a depth role player. What we'll do is we'll change this as well to role player, so we really clarify it. I think depth sometimes is a disgusting word in the AFL mantra, but for me, depth is what wins your flags. You've got to remember that. Up next, we've got Matty Crouch. Now, at this stage, I think he's in the side, and I don't think anyone could argue. But I think as the time goes on this season, Matty Crouch may be that guy, when we have this conversation at the end of the year, that might not be best 22. He'll be, what, 29, coming up to 30 next year. He's an April birthday, isn't he? So the way the AFL works, technically you gain 2 years every year because you've already got the first round. I think he'll be good though. Matty Crouch still does what he says on the tin. Very hard worker, incredible footballer. Dan Curtin, I think he's around 1 star. And you know what? I'm going to go very early. He's going to be good straight away. Close to top tier. Close to top tier for mine. Absolute. We talked about your run off the halfback and your transition from defence. So important. So important. So I really rate Dan Curtin. Riley Thilthorpe, I think he'll be good. I think working with Tex, I love everything that he's about. I think he's an incredible footballer and one that I'm really excited about seeing where he is. Josh Rochelle will be top tier this year. Mark my words, I think he's going to come back with a bang. I think people have really forgotten what he's about and just how good he is. So Rochelle is there. This is going to be controversial, but Rory Sloane I see more as a depth role player. We know that they're going to play him down, presumably, a little bit more half-back, a little bit of reassurance. I think the young players will usurp him this year. And then by the end of the year, I think that you may be looking at the young bucks there dominating that midfield. For me, it's between Rory Sloane and Crouch. I just think Crouch has more of an output. I think with the detached retina, it slowed him down at the pre-season, obviously. I just think there's better options, and I love Rory Sloane. I think he's an incredible footballer, but I do think that he'll become more of a depth player as the season goes on, more of a role player, and the younger bucks will get that onus from the off. Up next, a player we've heard a lot about and one that I'm very excited about seeing. That's Luke Pedlar, and I think he'll go straight into the good section. I've got a feeling that this could be like a little bit of a Lockie Schultz when he's forward. Maybe a little bit of pinch hitting in the midfield magic from him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings from Luke Pedlar. Been huge raves out of Adelaide, so I can't wait to see it. Charlie Edwards, I feel like he's going to be a development state type thing this year. I feel like he'll just wind his way. Very good footballer. Saw a lot of him in these draft year. Real good scope to improve. I'm really excited about seeing what Adelaide do with him. He is definitely a player that will model what he does on Rory Sloane, learn a little bit off Milwera, and really go on leaps and bounds. John Dawson, top tier. Top tier. Absolute jet footballer. And Tex Walker, I think he'll slow down a little bit, so we won't have him in the top tier, but he'll definitely be very good. Definitely very good. Jake Saligo, I feel like they lack a little bit of skill on the wing, and you don't want to play Dawson there because it's a waste. I think Jake Saligo will go into the good category this year and really play some good football. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he brings. Up next, Brayden Cook. Now, I think Brayden Cook is going to be definitely one of these players that I'm looking at and just going, is there better options? I feel like there's a lot of young players around him. And looking at him, he's a non-free agent next year. So I feel like he could be one of them players that is fighting to survive. That he's probably a depth role player at this stage. But that being said, I feel like he will be one of them players that they've got a lot of Brayden Cooks at that club. He may be one that may be snared away as that non-free agent type thing. Someone may be interested to trade. Someone like a Hawthorn or a North Melbourne if the deal suits. And it makes sense for Adelaide to go. Obviously, we know with Brayden Cook, he's a South Adelaide boy, so it's not like he's going to have a big Victorian following, but a player that's definitely played enough AFL games for him to kind of be worth a look at other clubs. So that's going to be very interesting. Big Max, I feel like he's going to have another year of development, but I feel like he will be one of them players we're talking about that is making that halfback with his zip his own, and one that I'm really looking forward to seeing where he'll be this time next year. Another player that I feel like maybe just looking at his position, fighting to survive, Will Hamill. Again, another young kid who's out of contract this year, but with a lot of young players there, dependent on the resurgence and the development of players like Charlie Edwards and co. One that I'm really looking forward to. Zach Taylor, he definitely will be in that good best 22 situation. I'm a big fan of Zachy Taylor. I love what he brings, and I feel like he will surprise a lot of people this year. I really do. Hingy up next, definitely at this stage starting on the wing. Definitely, I feel going that. You know what? We're going to make that a little bit fair. I feel like Zach Taylor, if I'm putting Hingy on the depth role player, that's going to be interesting. But with Mitch Hinge, I feel like he's going to be holding that role. I feel like when I look at who they're going to play on the wing, I feel like Saligo's got a little bit more about him, where Hinge has got that reliability. So that's why I've flipped that up. Up next, we've got Chris Burgess. And this is going to be interesting, but he's definitely a depth role player for me. I can't see him breaking into the side. And Oscar Ryan, I feel like will be development state league as well. Really watch the space with him though. Very solid footballer. Isaac Rankine, I feel like will be in the good, maybe top tier, but I'm going to put him in the good section for now. An incredible little footballer and one that I'm excited about seeing. Up next, Joshy Worrell. Joshy Worrell for me is starting. He's starting, and with you look at Butts and Worrell are probably going to be that key centre half back, full back position. I'm going to put him in the good section. I think he's actually going to fly this year. I really like Josh Worrell. I've put the wrong player there. There's Josh Worrell. I've put Mr. Ned McHenry, but Ned McHenry will stay good. I feel like he'll start on that 24-25th position. I think he'll break into that one at the expense of maybe players who are ahead of him at the moment. Players like Lachlan Murphy, players like that. I feel like he will really hold his own. Too much aplomb. Up next then, we've got Harry Schoenberg. Harry Schoenberg, he's shown a little bit, but I feel like at this stage, he needs to go a little bit more. So I'm going to put him in the development section, which could be harsh, you could say. But I look at him and I feel like he's what, 22, 23 at the start of the season. Feel like this is the year that he's got to really try and get ahead of players like Pedler, players like Murphy, players like Ned McHenry to really do it. But I do feel like there's something there just worth looking at. Luke Nenkervis, another development state system this year. I like what he brings and I'm a big fan of what he's bringing. I feel like he could be quite something. We haven't seen enough of him to make a real astute type bet on him, but definitely someone that I'm looking forward to seeing what we're doing. This is going to be a really interesting one, I find, with Nick Murray. Because Nick Murray, it's a tough one to see where he fits. 23 years old. He's had his injuries before, hasn't he? He's going to be coming into that stage where maybe he's out of contract. Maybe they look at his contract. I feel like it's another development state. They'll probably give him they'll probably back him in. He's got a contract next year, hasn't he? I think it's the year after he's out. Definitely a development state type thing. Up next, Rory Laird, top tier. Say no more. Will Moreira. I feel like this is going to be the stage where he again becomes more of a role player. I think they'll start giving the young players a little bit of a run with him, and that should be very interesting. Himmelberg is one that I think will be fighting to survive. Out of contract next year, I can see Elliot Himmelberg struggling to get into that side, to be honest. Struggling to get into that side. And the other one that I'm looking at here is Billy Dowling. Billy Dowling, I feel like he's going to be that development state level player, and he's going to be another one that's looking over his shoulder at where it goes. Darcy Fogarty, for me, top tier. I know that could be controversial. I'm a big fan of these smaller size players, and I feel like he's going to really own that. Brodie Smith, for me, very good player. Very good player. Very reliable. Everything you need. Everything you need. Bolasie, I feel like he's fighting survive. Another player that's out of contract this year. They've got a few of these players in the similar type of mode, so they're going to be definitely the ones that I am watching as we go on to see where they end up, but also where it goes. And I feel like Parnell, he'll be development state. I think he's got a little bit more than the other smaller players. He's got something about him. He's weaned his way in. It'll be very exciting to see. That's going to be one of them wait and sees for me of what happens. Lachlan Shaw, often linked with a move away. Often linked with a move away. Out of contract, he had a great state league last year. I think he's going to be in trouble. I think he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't break in. Hugh Bond, definitely development year there for him. He's going to be an intriguing one. Jordan Butt's definitely going to be in and around the team. We know that their key position stocks aren't absolutely massive, but that is one that I'm looking at there. He'll be fighting to get into that team. Riley O'Brien, I think he's going to have a really strong year. He was a little bit down last year, but I think this year he's going to really rise up. And I feel like Kieran Strachan is going to be that depth role player, really going to play that auxiliary that's going to help him really break out and really help him get in and about, help Riley O'Brien out. Then we've got two players left. We've got Lachlan Gallant. Lachlan Gallant, I think, will be a depth player. And Marcus Keane. I feel like he's going to be in the development team, isn't he? But we'll give him his first year. But that is my Adelaide synopsis. Adelaide fans, let me know what you're thinking. Am I wide off the mark? Have I been harsh? I've tried to be as fair as I can. Opposition fans, let me know. This is a little bit of a scouting report for you, for us to get to know each other's sides. Adelaide, a very strong side, and a side that I think will finish very high up. As you can see, a very strong depth there in their list. Let me know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Till next time, peace, love and light. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad.